Following a devastating shooting involving some of their own students, Shaker Heights High School will have class today.
But with the community shaken, the school has resources available for the staff and the students. 19's Vic Gideon joining us live this morning from the high school with more. Vic. Showers, but that's going to be the big thing, especially in areas of poor drainage, and that's going to be the big story moving forward here. Flooding concerns through the weekend. So I've got the radar loop showing from early this morning. Once it does restart, there you see right there the heavier rain that came through. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the aftermath impacts we're seeing. We do have a flood warning for the Black River in Lorain County through Elyria. It's in the minor flood stage right now, but what's to come is, more rain expected through the weekend. So we're going to most likely see a lot more of these river flood warnings here heading into the next several days. This line you see is showers right here. This is the actual cold front that's coming through. It's not going to cool things down too much, but it will bring in some of that cooler air. What I've got up right now are storm reports. So overnight, Cuyahoga County, Summit County, we missed a majority of the strong damaging wind gusts out towards Toledo. They're going to have the National Weather Service surveying out there for potential tornadoes, as well as portions of Cincinnati. We had a tornado warning just before 3 o'clock this morning in Tuscarawas, but what you're seeing right now, these little circles, those are showing up as power lines down. A lot of reports of power lines down, blocking a few roads through the islands and Sandusky. And then I mentioned just before 3 o'clock this morning, Tuscarawas County did have a tornado warned storm. Now, no confirmation of a tornado on the ground or anything like that, but definitely some confirmation of some strong damaging winds. Reports of a tree down just after 3 o'clock this morning. That was during the warning over in that area. So I mentioned we are not done yet. The flood threat continues as we head through the weekend. A 19 first alert weather day on Saturday. A flood watch is in effect for much of the area. We're going to talk more about the flooding concerns heading into the weekend coming up. You this view of the traffic camera over near Berkeley Lakefront Airport, East 55th Street. Now they just turned the camera on me, ODOT, but you see these cones right here. There's a sign right here that says, hey, there's high water in that left lane. And this was the cause of several crashes this morning. And the water is still there. In fact, we have a lot of reports of some areas that are still flooded with standing water, maybe because of poor storm drains, things like that. But this is going to be the reality of the next several days. So if you live in a flood prone area, localized flooding is going to be a concern. These are radar estimated rainfall totals from the last 24 hours. Give or take, I think some of these are a little high, but in thunderstorms, we saw 2-3 inches plus in areas that got hit hard with several rounds. Most of us picked up about 1.5 to 2 inches of rain over the last 24 hours. We're expecting several more rounds of rain, thunderstorms, and then again, a few more inches of rain in these spots could lead to flooding, especially along area rivers, especially if you live somewhere that typically floods. You guys are going to be first on the list here. Plus, even in areas on the interstate, like we saw on 90 west side, we typically see that Brook Park Road. There's portions of that shut down right now because of standing water from the heavy rain last night. So we're getting a break from the rain for the most part right now. We do have a few showers out there. This is the actual cold front that's coming through. It'll help with the stickiness in the air a little bit, but we're still going to be in the 60s. Warmest day on tap here from the last several days. Toledo area again, potentially there could be a few confirmed tornadoes over there, as well as damage that will be updating you on through the day when the weather service heads out there. So hour by hour, I want to walk you through the rest of the day today, because look at the temperatures. They'll be warm. We'll even see a few peaks of sunshine, but a couple of passing showers here too through the early afternoon hours. But things are going to get wet again. Again, we are expecting several more rounds of rain and even a few rumbles of thunder. The severe risk in terms of severe thunderstorms with damaging winds is low, but the flood risk is high, especially for areas that are already pretty soggy and already pretty saturated. So you see by tomorrow evening into early Saturday morning, we're going to be dealing with our next round of rain, and Saturday is going to be a very, very wet day as we head through the afternoon hours. We're going to be dealing with on and off rain showers through the day, and eventually some colder air is going to move in with our next system that's coming through. So again, expecting soggy conditions through the day on Saturday, and then I want to show you what happens Sunday when the cold air comes in. We start to see some wintry mix, and that's going to be the next weather talker here. The impacts of much colder air coming in just in time for opening day, which means some snow chances are going to be in the forecast for next week. But before we get to the snow, we got to get through several rounds of rain. Again, the alert day Saturday is just for that risk of flooding. Again, a reminder, if you live in any of those flood prone areas, we're going to be dealing with several rounds of rain between now, Saturday, and then eventually that'll be mixing with some snow. We'll talk more about the changeover over our next weather system we're watching. It's going to bring that rush of cold air, bringing the threat of snow early next week coming up here in the next 10 minutes.